Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've jumped into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 to do the free flight and to try out the different aircraft. So at the moment we've jumped into what looks like a kind of experimental single person, what would you call it? I suppose a drone, for want of a better phrase. And so what I've done is I've set my departure point. Let's try and get a bit of speed up here. I've set the departure point as Antalya Airport in Turkey, because this is somewhere that we're going to be visiting. And actually the controls are fairly intuitive. So as with most of the aircraft, the throttle is operated through the X button to increase throttle, the circle button to decrease it. We need to tilt forward on the controller here to be able to get some airspeed, and of course altitude. It'd be nice to be able to fly this at a lower altitude. Actually, we're getting a bit too high here, so let's reduce this throttle right down. Doesn't seem like our airspeed's getting much beyond that 43, so we're not even past the airport yet. What I was going to try and do is get towards the coastline here. So we can also, we've got these on-screen prompts as well for the different parts. So cruise mode. Cruise mode on looks like it could be helpful. Increase our airspeed a little bit. Increase the throttle as well. Hopefully that means we can move a little bit. Yeah, that's working, isn't it? So we can move at a bit of extra speed here. Let's crank up that throttle. And so this is just another one of the options, really, is that there is a free flight mode you can select from, I think, any of the aircraft in the game. You don't necessarily need to have passed your certifications, easy for me to say, to fly them, but obviously that does help you know how to control them. So I have got my pilot's license to fly passengers for light aircraft, currently working through the rotors, helicopters. That is a lot more involved, but thankfully that's going to be tackled in stages, followed by an end exam. For me to be able to then, hopefully, he says, master that. So let's try and get towards the coast here. And I'm sure we've all done this in the game. We've tried to fly over our own house. Let's get this throttle going. Fly over our own house and maybe parts of the world that you've visited or hope to. So this is going to be our next holiday abroad. We have been to Turkey before, but this time we're going to, this will be the airport, Antalya. So as you can imagine, we're not going to be flying massively fast on this light aircraft, but it should give us some better control to get down to ground level. So at this sort of height, you can see that the level of detail is really quite impressive. I'd expect a bit of a resolution drop as we get lower. So let's lower our altitude. Our airspeed is still sticking at that 36. Don't want to cruise mode. So it looks like our top speed is going to be 44 knots. See if we can get a bit more out of it. I can start to see some swimming pools and things. And when the VR support drops for this, it's going to be an absolute game changer. Let's drop our altitude here. Because this looks like we're getting to the resorts. And the coastline. Then presumably this will stay at a hover. Just trying to find our hotel. So on things like Google Earth, when I looked at things like this, where are we doing it? So we've got a hover mode there, that's quite nice. Yeah, on things like Google Earth, it was all just flat when you got to this kind of level. So I'm talking particularly about VR and games that were on. What are the games? Games, experiences, whatever you'd like to call them, on the Quest 3. Once you got down to this sort of altitude, they were just basically it's just a flat picture. So this has got some depth to it, as you can probably see. So our hotel, I'm not going to say the name obviously, it should be somewhere around this region, and it's nice to be able to have a look around, albeit not in kind of real world detail, but at the sort of area that you're staying in. We can spin round with that. And then, believe it or not, let's just get out at one of these. Just try not to clip the trees. We can actually land this and get out and have a walk around. So let's drop down that airspeed and altitude. That should bring us down nicely. We can't really see what's beneath us here, so we don't want to land on the swimming pool, but we can then exit the aircraft. Where's the exit? There was a way to do it somewhere. I've not used this one before, so I do apologise, but I'm pretty sure you could. I thought you could get out of the vehicle and actually walk around. Jetson. I don't know whether this is like an experimental vehicle in real life or. Re-click the battery. So as you can see, once you get to ground level, obviously it's not going to render in photorealistic detail, but it is pretty impressive. We got these trees, we got the buildings. Where is the exit for this? Our rear view mirrors, just in case. Okay, well, it's there somewhere, because you can actually get out of these real world locations, out of your vehicle, and have a look around. I'm not sure how we exit this one. So I did have a bit of a go in a hot air balloon as well. But hopefully that just gives a little bit more, another kind of mode to Flight Simulator that you could potentially try out. I am currently on a mission to try and get 50 subscribers so that I can live stream. This is probably not the most interesting of content to ask you to do that, but I am building up lots of content on the channel. There's lots of other things out there. This particular game has got an awful lot of depth. There's a career mode. There's a fairly steep learning curve, but you can just jump in vehicles as we've shown here and just set where you would like to go anywhere in the world and go off and explore. So is it a game? Is it a simulator? I would say it's a bit of a combination in that there's enough depth there and attention to detail to keep, I'm sure, the enthusiasts happy. And for people that just want to pick up the game and enjoy it, and not necessarily feel like they're becoming qualified pilots, then there's also certainly elements of that there. And there's already some free DLC in the form of Stranger Things, which I've not checked out at all yet. So do let me know how you're getting on with this game. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure there's people with hundreds, if not thousands, of flight hours in the game that can pass on the best things in their opinion. And as always, I will thank you for watching.